Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do?
Welcome, ladies and gents, to another episode of the PWC Smackdown review. And we take a look what happened on Friday Night Smackdown WWE. As always, I'm your mother's favorite podcaster, Vaz. And I'm here to entertain y'all. I'm here to give you the lowdown, the 411, whatever lingo kids are using today on what happened on SmackDown Live yesterday, basically on Friday night. And it was a chaotic show, a show which, as I predicted on Monday, would be a lot better than Raw, and a show that, you know, brought their A game out yet again, showing why SmackDown is the dominant brand at the moment. It just seems that Raw can't get into gear, but SmackDown is in fifth, cruising along the highway, and 120 on their way to SummerSlam. Before we get into the review, of course, don't forget, ladies and gents, please click subscribe and the notify button. And if you haven't done so already, tell your friends, parents, grandparents, lovers, haters, whoever you like, come down to YouTube, click on the PWC button and subscribe to our channel. And let's get the voice of Africa's wrestling out there. Let's do it. To the review. And SmackDown kicked off with everybody's favorite John Cena. That's right, John Cena came out to address what happened last week with Roman Reigns snubbing his challenge and taking Finn Balor's challenge instead. John Cena's promo, though, on Roman Reigns was just beautifully done, attacking the ego of Roman Reigns and the fact that he has to change characters every 2 years, and, you know, if he had to stay the same for 2 decades and no one had to make him change to be a top star where Roman has. It is a good promo, attacking Roman Reigns exactly where he needed to attack Roman Reigns. And then we got possibly what might be the best thing in SmackDown right now, just behind the Tribal Chief, in my opinion. And that is Baron Corbin coming out to the ring and asking John Cena for money, since John Cena is rich and famous. And yeah, he's having problems in the bedroom. His wife left him. His children have left him now. He's basically homeless. And I'm loving the storyline of Baron Corbin from riches to rags storyline. And John Cena gave him some money, and he said, this is not enough. You're a world famous star. You'll work for the money, even be stunt double, which I thought was quite funny. We'll put him in the new Suicide Squad movie to push that size up, I guess. Next week, Friday, apparently gets released in the States. He did mention that. Good plug. Anyway, for his troubles of trying to ask for money, John Cena gave him an attitude adjustment instead and walked out of the ring, leaving Baron Corbin a mess in the middle of the ring. And I'm loving Baron Corbin at the moment. I think WWE might have struck gold with this. I don't know if it was just a write-off storyline that they were trying to do once off, and Baron Corbin sold it tremendously. Take my hat off to Baron Corbin for taking such a thing and running full on with it. And really, I'm loving the continuity between it. He's been wearing the same shirt now for the last 4 weeks with the little tomato sauce stain or ketchup stain, whatever it is. It's slowly getting more and more unbuttoned as the weeks go on. It's fantastic. I'm enjoying this a lot. We then get our piece of our first in-ring action. It was a singles match between Jey Uso and Rey Mysterio in the continuing feud of Mysterios and Usos, which I am enjoying. I think this has been a good feud so far. This, however, wasn't the best match that these people have put on. And we know Jey and Rey can put on a fantastic match no matter what. I'm not saying that it's not a fantastic match in terms of their quality, though. It was a little bit on the worse end of the second. When I say worse end, maybe like a B plus at that, which is still acceptable in some parts of the world. But that's cool. That's all right. I don't mind that. The finish was smart. It's something that the Usos have been doing for the last 2 matches. Dominic assisting his father to pick up the victory and effectively steal one from the Usos. Let's not forget, Michael's Cole did mention the stealing of a victory for about 10 hours after that, and he just rambled on and on and on about how Mysterio stole that victory. Again, in-ring action wasn't as bad as maybe I'm making it out to be there. The two are solid in-ring performers. They're veterans of the ring. They know each other. Their chemistry's always been there for a long time. And you know what? I think at this point in time, I think the Usos can't have a bad match. No matter who you chuck the Usos with, they will have a fantastic match. And I think the same can be said for Rey Mysterio right now. He just brings out the best in people. I think Jay and Jimmy also do that, and it helps a little bit. And I think this entire feud in total is actually helping one man in particular, and that's Dominic Mysterio, and get him over with the crowd. Because I think, remember, he debuted in a time where we had no live audiences. There was no live audiences whatsoever. And he came into a time very unprecedented for a wrestler to debut in no crowds, nothing like that. And coming in and hearing the reaction that Dominic has gotten from the crowds is something we can all look forward to being a top superstar soon. I think, you know, with the guidance of his father, maybe he needs to just ditch the tag team a little bit. Maybe stay with the tag team till the end of the year, I think. And then slowly ditch it, maybe even turn on his father, have a good heel persona. Let's see what he's like as a heel. Why not? We then had Bianca Belair celebrate her 110th day as champion. They kept saying that she just surpassed 100. She surpassed 100 last week when she defeated Carmella. Even before she defeated Carmella, she was already on 102 days as champion. But they just want us to forget about that. That's, you know, that was 7 days ago, and now she's on 110 days, guys. Come on. Anyway, she came out and said that she's happy to be champion, and the crowd have reacted so well. She's a headline WrestleMania. She's champion for 100 days. She won an SB and all that stuff, running off the rattling. And then we got Carmella coming out to the ring again, claiming that she deserves one more shot as she was a 130-day champion. Apparently that means you get a title shot. And then we also had Zelina Vega come out and claim that she deserves a title shot after losing 3 weeks. Yeah, two single matches and a Money in the Bank match. She literally hasn't won a match since her return to WWE. But she deserves a title shot according to her and her self-righteousness, I guess. And Bianca Belair accepts Zelina Vega's challenge. She says, "You're on, let's do it." And then Carmella attacks her from behind. Zelina joins in to take an opportunity to beat her new challenger. They beat her down. And then, in the iconic words of Michael Cole, it's boss time! That's it. Sasha Banks makes her return to WWE SmackDown and lays the SmackDown on, of course, Carmella and Zelina Vega, beating everybody, then hugging Bianca Belair in the ring, setting up a nice little return for Sasha Banks. You know, even though they were arch rivals at WrestleMania, there's still mutual respect. That's the storyline they're trying to devolve. And this also set up the main event for SmackDown, which was, of course, then going to be SmackDown champion Bianca Belair taking on, teaming up with Sasha Banks, rather, taking on the team of Carmella and Zelina Vega. It was announced as the main event. Maybe something else should have been, I don't know. We'll just move on from there. We'll get to what happened there. And then we had in probably the lowest and confusing point of SmackDown. So I get the hype behind Reggie or Reginald, whatever you want to call him now. I get the point of him. He's high-flying, he's athletic, he does flips and tumbles, he's spectacular to watch. I get him being a 24/7 champion as well. What I don't get is this match. So it was Reggie versus Chad Gable for the 24/7 title in an official match. Alright, so official championship rules applies. What they said, they stipulated this from the beginning, so no other competitor could come into the ring while they were wrestling. It was stipulated, so, you know, Tozawa and Co. and Drew Gulak and Lince Dorado, whoever's chasing after it, cannot interfere in the match and pick up the 24/7 title championship. They cannot do that. Fine. They're trying to make the 24/7 title look a little bit more, less 24/7 title. I get that. What I don't get is how can you have a disqualification finish in a title that is literally allowed to be competed for anywhere in the world at any time, and then not have someone like Otis just squash Reginald and win the title. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know what they're doing. They've built up Otis to be this massive monster of a man, and then he gets shoved into a 24/7 championship title with Reginald. I don't understand. I mean, they just had a match with the Street Profits last week. Why aren't they continuing their feud with the Street Profits? It's almost if WWE is giving the middle finger to SmackDown's tag team division right now, and the only ones they're caring about is Usos and Mysterios, and they're not building up from the ground, and it's really frustrating for fans, because we know they've got these good tag teams, and we want to see good tag team wrestling. Even me, who doesn't like, not a fan of tag team wrestling, I still want to see good tag team wrestling, and we're getting that on NXT. I mean, there's about 3 rivalries going on right now in NXT that are not for the tag team titles, you know. There's the Ciampa and Thatcher, they're going at it. They've got the Imperium and Phantasmo. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Hit Row's involved in it. There's a whole bunch of tag teams that have been built up apart, you know, other than the champions and whoever they're facing at this point, who they don't actually have a challenger at this point. That's why it's so good, because we want to know who the #1 contender is, and it's frustrating, man. There's hints that WWE's trying. There is, but they're not trying hard enough. I mean, we've seen on Raw, they're trying to introduce Ali and Mansoor. They're trying to do things. It's just not working at the moment. I feel like they're like their women division. SmackDown is struggling at the moment with tag teams. But anyway, I digress. Reggie picked up the victory via disqualification and kept his 24/7 title, and that was the end of that. We then got the contract signing for the Universal title midway through the show to kick off the last hour of SmackDown. Very weird placing for something of this caliber, but okay, I accepted it. It was alright. We had Roman Reigns come out. Finn Balor was there. They were going to sign the contract. And then all of a sudden, Baron Corbin came out and attacked Finn Balor before he could sign. He was then about to sign the contract. And before he could do that, John Cena came out, threw away Baron Corbin, signed the contract, and apparently this is now binding. I'm not sure since when this was allowed in wrestling. Normally when you have a contract signing, the participants' names are there. Paul Heyman made this case afterwards, but they decided to discard it, and apparently it's become a money in the bank situation where anyone just signs the contract can get a title shot. Very odd little booking segment there, but take the booking oddness away, the segment as a whole was fantastic. Roman Reigns on the mic destroyed anything and everything that John Cena said at the top of the show. He is the master of the mic right now. Anything he says is so beautifully put. And I'm 100% sure he's taken hints from Paul Heyman, 100% about that. You can feel the Paul Heyman-esque coming out in Roman Reigns, and it's beautifully delivered. It was fantastic. His words to Finn Balor was, if you sign that contract, I'm sending you back to NXT. Brilliantly done. And another little talking point, when Baron Corbin came out and beat up Finn Balor, I'm not sure if you guys watched that. Listen to the pop from the crowd when he started looking for a pen to sign that contract. There was a lot of noise, and this is a testament to Baron Corbin getting his gimmick over, which I think could be a massive draw come after SummerSlam. I won't be surprised if WWE pull the trigger on Baron Corbin and try and help him get back to, or maybe even have a face turn somewhere in there. I don't agree with that. I think he should stay as a heel, as a poor heel. It's something that's new in wrestling, or not new in the sense that it hasn't been done. We've had a couple of, heels that are bad on their luck and they're trying to find ways. But Baron Corbin brings a freshness to this persona, and I'm loving it. I'm loving 100%. Anyway, we got the contract signing we all thought was going to happen. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. SummerSlam confirmed, because John Cena stole somebody else's contract. We then got a trio tag match. Sorry, WWE doesn't use trio tag match. A 6-man tag match. That's what they use. We had the Money in the Bank winner, Big E, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'll never do Rick Boogs justice. Boogs is just, man, that man's so great. Sorry, King Nakamura. Oh, my bad. Anyway, we had those three, and they took on the team of the Dirty Dogs. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler teaming up with the IC champion Apollo Crews. And you know what? This is it was a good match. Let me put it first like that. It showcased everything that it needed to showcase. It gave Cesaro a little bit direction after his Seth Rollins feud. He kind of just disappeared, and he's still showing the world that he's good. It built up Big E a little bit more, protected him as Money in the Bank, and it set up a brand new contender for the IC title over Apollo Crews, and that is King Nakamura. And I won't be surprised if SummerSlam we get Nakamura versus Apollo Crews. Honestly, Apollo Crews' IC title reign has been a little bit boring. We had one or two good moments with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but it hasn't felt like a good progression of IC Championship, and I think WWE's realized this, and it's time to drop the belt and give it to Nakamura. Let him have another IC title reign. He was fantastic as his first IC title champion. He's been a good US title champion. He's decent WWE title run. I'm a fan of Nakamura, and I think as IC champion with Rick Boogs, I think he could be a better IC champion than Apollo Crews. As for this match, it was the distraction from Boogs that gave Nakamura the chance to do the most electrifying move in sports entertainment, the schoolboy roll-up, and picked up the 3 count. And of course then basically saying, hey, listen, Apollo, I'm your new challenger. In the words of The Rock, one thing I will give Minnesota is they know how to pop. And I mean, we've now had Edge on our screens for maybe 4 weeks in a row, 5 weeks in a row, and we have enjoyed every single bit of it. And yet fans are still popping like he hasn't been in the WWE ring for 20 years. It is fan-freaking-tastic. I love it. I love it. Anyway, we got Edge popping out to a massive hot crowd and walking down to the ring. They went to a commercial break. Coming back, we just see Rollins mauling Edge on the side of the ring, pops into the ring and delivers probably one of the best promos we've had from Seth Rollins in, I'd say, about 3 years. It was beautifully put, brilliantly, straight up, exactly what he needed to say, and it was beautifully done. Just the line alone is, if I can't challenge for the Universal title, neither can Edge, was just beautiful. It took me back to his whole Monday Night Messiah gimmick when he started, that first time he started it, which I loved it. And then we had that little bit of cut part with the Vision, which was a bit weird with him and Mysterio. But it's back to the Monday Night Messiah, the great, arrogant, over-the-top heel Seth Rollins that we love. And whether he's dripping in amazing suits or just laughing, it is exactly what we need from Seth Rollins right now. And made the point clear. It's going to be Rollins versus Edge at SummerSlam. And probably this could be considered a #1 contender match, I feel, moving forward. I think we are going to get Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins soon, if not Seth Rollins versus John Cena at some point, if Cena has to beat Roman Reigns. If there's going to be someone who's going to end the Tribal Chiefs run, it will probably be John Cena. At the moment, I don't see anybody else doing that. Maybe Seth Rollins, if he's so over at the moment with this persona. But always, when you put a face and heel dynamics, they never really work. Yeah, let's leave that at that. But well done, Seth Rollins. This is what we want. We then got our main event for SmackDown. It was a women's tag match. Zelina Vega and Carmella taking on Bianca Belair and the returning Sasha Banks. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm sure a lot of you guys know it. I'm not a fan of Sasha Banks. I think she's a little overrated as hell. I don't think she's as good as people make her out. I don't think she's bad. I think she's better than Carmella and Zelina Vega. I think she's better than Bianca Belair. But I don't classify her as one of the best wrestlers in the industry, as a lot of people do. Sue me if you like. That's my opinion. Just take it. But what I will give Sasha Banks is she knows how to tell a story. And that's what I like. Her in-ring ability, her character work, brilliant. Fantastic. So anyway, in the match, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks picked up the victory. Kudos to Carmella and Zelina Vega for trying their hardest. I mean, they didn't put on a bad performance at all. We showed a glimpse of what Zelina Vega could do. I mean, during her time in the Performance Center, people spoke so highly of her in-ring ability. And then when she came to the main roster with El Idolo, it wasn't as great. We're starting to get a glimpse of what they were talking about in the PC. And you know what? Carmella has come leaps and bounds since when we saw her debut in NXT with Enzo and Cass. It's been fantastic to watch her grow as a wrestler. And her character work is what really gets me going with Carmella. I think she's fantastic on the microphone. And yeah, Mela is money and definitely going to be a future champion again. I wouldn't be surprised if Zelina Vega has a title run at some point as well. But the big story point, the big turning point was what happened after the match. While celebrating their victory, Sasha Banks turns on Bianca Belair, hits a backstabber, and then makes her tap out with the bank statement. And yeah, classic Sasha Banks. That's why I praise her character work. She's coming back halfway through the show, knowing exactly what she was going to do. You know, being a friend, showing this mutual respect, and then turning her on a dime because she wants that title back. Because it's what it's all about in WWE. And it is all about the championship. That is what it's about, and I loved it. I loved every second about this ending. The match itself was, let's forget, you didn't have to remember the match. It was all about Sasha Banks and her turn on Bianca Belair. Coming to a massive pop and ending off with a massive boo is something only the best wrestlers can do. And Sasha Banks, again, not a fan of her in-ring work, but her character work. Chef kiss good. Two chef kiss good. Brings us to the end of SmackDown. A lovely little ending with the whole turning of Sasha Banks. And yeah, good show. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Only downfall was the original thing. I'm not 100% sure what that all was about. Doesn't hurt the show at all. It was literally like 3 minutes of my life that I'm not getting back. But I'm not going to hold it against SmackDown. The confusion in the booking of the contract was also a little bit weird. Also, didn't really hurt the show. It was fun to see Baron Corbin get this pop. And it's actually interesting to see Corbin versus Finn Balor, which was announced for next week. And where Finn Balor goes from here. Is he just brought back to be a filler? Or is he going to be a major player in SmackDown? Excuse the pun. Something's coming up. Anyway, let's get to the Vaz scale. The Vaz scale. As one of our fans say, I keep adding extra A's. I don't know. SmackDown on the whole was a great show. I enjoyed it. First time in a long time that I found very little that irritated me about a wrestling show. And that goes across the board everywhere. I mean, AEW, SmackDown, Raw, all of them have their own issues. Always and forever, even NXT. And I didn't find one today in SmackDown. Even with the disappointment that is Reginald and the contract signing. And you know what? And the fact that Zelina Vega and Carmella have no actual reason to challenge for the title, I can let that go because I enjoyed it. I actually sat and was smiling watching SmackDown. And that's what you want as a wrestling fan. So, picks himself a beautiful 8 out of 10 on the Vaz scale. Maybe that's good. Actually, at 8.25, we'll give it a quarter. Because I'm still talking. I'm still smiling talking about SmackDown. That's how much I love it. It was fantastic to watch. Till next time though, ladies and gents, keep watching some pro wrestling, keep subscribing, keep clicking notify, keep your comments flooding our inboxes. We want to hear about all of you guys and what you guys think of the show. Remember to tell your friends, parents, grandparents, lovers, haters, whoever you like to subscribe and get notified of PWC. From me though, your mother's favorite podcaster, Till next time, peace and chicken grease.